One practice that is incredibly valuable is imagining who you could be if you got your shit together. If you did everything right, who could you be? Who could you possibly be? If you got up at the same time every day, you did the work that you wanted to do, you didn't spend too much time on social media, you were there for your family, your friends, like who could you be? Who could you potentially be? Likely it's someone similar to, or it's similar to someone rather than that you look up to. It's probably an idol of yours in some sense. So it's someone that you deeply respect. And that's an interesting way of thinking about the future. You deeply respect the person that you could potentially be. It's very interesting. That's why you want to, become that, because you respect that spirit. Visualizing this is a great way to motivate yourself to becoming better. It's also very beneficial simply to get some idea of who you want to become. So if you look at someone that you really respect, you can kind of dissect that into what you want to become and move towards that over time. But you also have a list of bad tendencies as well. So let's think about this in the negative sense. You could do something like negative visualization of your character, which would be visualizing who you could be if you let all of the worst parts of yourself manifest themselves into the world. You likely have a list of bad tendencies. We all do. Some are prone to eat too much, to drink too much. Some people tend to be lazy. Some people tend to work too much. Many people are irritable, but just as many people are too easygoing. They never take anything seriously, and that's not good either. This gets down to wisdom, right? To knowing thyself, knowing yourself and what your positives and negatives are. But if you take that list, let's say you can make a list, your worst tendencies. Let's think about it like that. And then you imagine who you're going to be in 5 years. If you gave in to each and every one of those bad tendencies, who are you going to be? If you let those tendencies run wild, you slept in every day, you spent all your time on social media, you never told yourself to get back to work, you never tried to find meaning in your work, you didn't really call your family back when they called you, or you didn't answer, you're going to end up being your personal devil. You'll end up being someone that you really don't want to become. Interestingly enough, though, this form of visualization, negative character visualization, has been found to be better for success. So all this talk about be positive. Yeah, okay, there's a place for that. However, they've actually tracked this, that people who tend to think more negative visualization in their character, think about the person who they could be in a bad way, that is actually a better motivator. Why? Because fear is a great motivator. I use that word motivator neutrally, okay? I don't mean it positively or negatively. Fear can, in fact, be a motivator to be a coward. It can also be a motivator for you to be courageous. This is where things get tangly. The Stoics talk a lot about not letting fear dictate your actions. However, it's important to understand exactly what they're referring to here. When the Stoics say that fear, in this context, that you shouldn't let it dictate your actions, they're specifically talking about the fear that would motivate you to not be virtuous. For example, fear of speaking truth, fear of fighting courageously. However, we can mirror this idea, as you can pretty much any philosophical ideas. If you do it properly, it gets complicated, but we can mirror this idea to the fear that would motivate you to be virtuous. In this way, you can actually use your fear to work for you rather than against you. So the person that is, let's say, fighting their fear to be courageous, that's going to be a virtuous act. But you can also have your fear be, well, I am afraid of being a coward and who I will be if that comes to fruition. So that is going to be my motivating force as well. But a lot of these ideas are proven true, but that doesn't mean that other ideas aren't. This idea of having your fear of being a terrible person motivate you, that's simply a mirroring of the Stoic idea. It turns out, scientifically, that this is the better way to motivate yourself. Positive visualization has a place too. I want to be clear about that. Athletes use it when they need to perform. Managers use it before a presentation. However, when you wake up in the morning and you don't want to get out of bed, maybe it's more useful not to think necessarily about whom you will become if you get up and go to work every morning, but rather whom you will become if you choose to sleep in each and every day.